The United States carried out a strike against Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria. A Pentagon video showed a missile launched from a warship, but Reuters was not able to independently verify the location or the date.
President Trump to act on the deadly persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Since 2009, over 52,000 Christians have been killed, including 7,000 this year. More than 18,000 churches have been burned since 2009, and over 5 million Christians have been displaced.
Fox News contributor Raymond Arroyo joins us now. Raymond, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad we're doing this topic. We don't speak enough about the persecution of Christians in the world, the #1 persecuted religion in the world. What can you tell us about what's going on in Nigeria and why we've been so slow to respond?
Well, first of all, just to put this in context, if you put together all the Christians persecuted for their faith around the globe, Rachel, they do not compute to the high numbers in Nigeria. As Charlie just mentioned, 52,000 killed since 2009. That equals, there's a group called Inter-Society, which does pretty good polling on the ground. They say that's about 35 Christians killed every day. Okay, 3 churches are destroyed every day in this area. And look, it's a combination. In northern Nigeria, you have both Muslims and Christians being killed. But in the Middle Belt and elsewhere, it's all Christians being slaughtered. And the perpetrators here are Boko Haram, whose name we know, an Islamic terrorist group. You have these Fulani herdsmen who run around on horses or on motorcycles with machine guns. They literally mow these Christians down. These farmers who are tending to their land. It is an outrage. And
President Donald Trump announced the strike on Christmas Day, saying in a post that the militants had been targeting Christians at what he called levels not seen for centuries. The U.S. military's Africa Command said the strike hit ISIS camps in Sokoto State, killing multiple fighters. An earlier statement posted by the command on X said the strike had been conducted at the request of Nigerian authorities, but that statement was later removed. This comes months after Trump began warning in October that Christianity faces a, quote, existential threat in Nigeria. He also threatened to militarily intervene over what he says is its failure to stop violence targeting Christian communities.
Demanding Nigeria stop the brutal murders of thousands of Christians in the country or face possible action from the Pentagon. He posted in part, quote, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country guns a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Paul Adamu is a Nigerian Christian who was kidnapped by Boko Haram 2 years ago for all Nigerians. What's your message? What's it like to be a Christian in Nigeria?
Nigeria is the worst place to be as a Christian, like the worst place in the whole of the world to be as a Christian, because we wake up every day with news of killings. Every day with news of massacring of Christians. It's totally a genocide that is happening here in Nigeria. There is nothing anybody will tell me because I have been in here for as long as I know. I've been in these places where these attacks have taken place. I've seen women who are crying for the loss of their husbands. I've seen children who are crying for the loss of their parents. I've seen parents who are crying for the loss of their children. I've been to churches that have been burnt down. These are not things that I've heard from the news or someone telling me. This is something that I witnessed somewhere. I've been myself. I've witnessed where terrorism is at the highest point, where people are killed and slaughtered like chickens every day.
Paul, I don't have a lot of time left, but I just want to ask you one last question. How have you and other Christians kept the faith during this persecution?
Discipleship, where they are being told that despite all that is happening to them, Christ still loves them.
Paul Adamu, just so you know, the African church, the Nigerian church in particular, the Christians there have been an amazing example of faith through persecution and martyrdom, and we are praying for all of you very much, and we hope the president will do something that will make a difference for your religious freedom in your country. Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it, and God bless you.
The United States carried out a strike against Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria. A Pentagon video showed a missile launched from a warship, but Reuters was not able to independently verify the location or the date when the video was filmed.
That's why you see now Ted Cruz and 35 Christians saying, wait, we need to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. It's a bloodbath. It's a genocide.
It does seem like if this were happening to somebody else, you would see it on the front page of the New York Times, the front page of the Washington Post every day. Why isn't it?
Well, I think because A, it's Africa, and we just don't cover Africa the way we should, and B, for whatever reason, Islamic terrorism is just not covered. And when you look closely, 22 Islamic terrorist groups, including Boko Haram and others, have safe haven and have a safe quarter in Nigeria. Now, here much have feared that Nigeria is going to turn into what Egypt and Constantinople became, which, remember, was a majority Christian country that over time you had an Islamic destruction of the faith, and that's what's happening in Nigeria in real time. We've got to do something here, at least put sanctions on this government.
What's remarkable, I couldn't agree with you more, and what's remarkable is, despite this persecution, the number of conversions and the faith of the African church is something that's so inspirational. So we appreciate you joining us.
If you look at the attacks that Boko Haram and ISIS have launched over the last few weeks, they've originated from the south, from the northwestern part of the country. So it makes a lot of sense that that the strike should take place in that part of the country. So this is nothing new. The surprise in the Nigerian case is that it's taking so long for the Nigerian authorities to do the rightful thing, which is to seek foreign assistance. Nigerian security experts have been calling on the Nigerian authorities to do exactly what it has just done. 3 weeks ago, I don't think there's anything new here. If anything, it's coming rather late, but it's very much welcome. In northeastern and northwestern Nigeria, there are so many of these groups, and they keep mutating. There's Boko Haram, there's ISWAP. Every day, there is almost a new group. I don't think there is anything wrong with the United States seeking collaboration of the Nigerian government to do what it is doing right now, insofar as ultimately this helps to bring relief to the victims of Boko Haram, who, keep in mind, are not just Christians, but are also Muslims and Nigerians of all stripes.
Africa News. The news.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday announced that American forces had carried out what it described as a powerful and deadly strike against Islamic State militants in Nigeria, following weeks of sharp criticism of Nigerian government over the persecution of Christians. In a Christian Evening Post on a social media platform, Trump offered no operational details and did not specify the scale of damage inflicted on the number of militants targeted in the operation. A U.S. Defense Department official, speaking on condition of anonymity, confirmed that the strikes were conducted in coordination with Nigerian authorities. According to the official, the operation was approved by the Nigerian government, underscoring ongoing security cooperation between Washington and Abuja in the fight against the extremist group operating in West Africa. Islamic State-affiliated factions have been active in part of northern and northeastern Nigeria, where security linked to insurgency and sectarian violence has persisted for years.
In the African nation of Nigeria, millions of Christians are persecuted by Islamic terror groups. The Nigerian government is doing very little to stop the attacks. Well, now religious freedom advocates, including one member of the U.S. Congress, are taking action. CBN's Kelly Wright has this look at the crisis.
On this very day, 210 persons were slaughtered in one night, in less than 24 hours.
The video from the Father's Day massacre includes graphic images of people being burned alive, families attacked, and homes destroyed in Yelawata, Nigeria.
That very day, it was raining
So Fulani herdsmen, they invaded the community and claimed so many lives.
Around 12 midnight, we started having calls from Yerwata that the Fulanis have come and they are killing, burning.
Friday night, I was sleeping in my house. See my house there. I come here, they shoot gun. Later, they come, they break this house. Where my brother, my brother is sleeping here with his children. Thereby, they come, they kill people. They were breaking the house. Say, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar.
These first-hand accounts gathered by Truth Nigeria journalists describe the ongoing atrocities in a terror campaign to eradicate Nigeria's Christians. Judd Saul, filmmaker and missionary, the organizer of equipping the persecuted, highlighted this documentary as a way to sound the alarm, has introduced a resolution in Congress to help stop attacks fueled by religious hatred.
There has been an exponential increase in attacks on Christians, but Christians in particular. Protestants, evangelicals, Catholics, they're firebombing their churches. The Fulani are killing them with absolute impunity. We've called on the government in Abuja and the president several times to do what governments do, law enforcement. Use the military if you have to, but stop this genocide and do it now.
The resolution points to Nigeria's government's apparent open border policy that allows almost free access to the country. Fulani militants and ISIS-linked extremist groups from neighboring countries take advantage of this policy to carry out mass murder, rape, and kidnappings.
We're also calling on President Trump to reissue, which he did in his first term, the designation of country of particular concern. And that then gives the president wide latitude to impose sanctions. It's an excellent bill when it's used properly. It gets the attention of all the policymakers, in this case in Abuja. It says, we're not kidding.
During a White House press briefing, I asked Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about the crisis in Nigeria.
And do you know if there's any action that the president will take?
I'm not tracking a call between the president and the head of Nigeria. I know the president wholeheartedly condemns the persecution of Christians or, frankly, of people of any faith all over the world, but I don't have any updates for you in terms of sanctions in this part of the world.
Thank you for watching another episode of Cox's Biblical Defense, where I bring you the live action news on Christians being persecuted and why America has to step in like we always do. But we've been silent too long. Stand and rise, my Christians.